Hey everyone, we are live for our Sunday weekly warm-up. This is our Sunday show exclusive to our private group. Where on Sunday nights we get to come together. Typically it's Brad and I and a guest, so we cannot wait to talk with Erin Healey throughout the show today. And we are going to be diving into a number of different things. This Sunday show is all aimed to get you ready for the week in the right mindset, not only with some positivity, but also with some focus. We also love to give you some challenges to maybe help you power through the week. So as we get started here, we are streaming exclusively in our private group for one reason only, and that is so you can engage with one another in the comments. We have over 7,000 educators in our private group over at teachbettergroup.com. So the more you can interact and learn from one another all around the world, the better. So please feel free to use those comments as a way to engage with us during the show, but also each other. And then if you're catching this after the fact, you might catch it streamed Monday nights on all of our social media platforms as a recording. That's also a great way to not only get to know the people on screen, but also as a reminder to get in our Teach Better private group. So we'll see you here in a minute. Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I am here with Brad Hughes, of course, because I cannot do a Sunday show without him. I would be lost, Brad. I'd be lost without you, truly.
Ray, if we're going to be lost, at least we can be lost together. And I think that our incredible guest, Erin Healey, is going to keep us on track, keep us on the straight and narrow. Erin is going to help us navigate a fantastic show tonight. How are you doing, Erin? Welcome in.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I'm so excited to be here. Start off the week with you.
Erin, is it weird to join the Sunday show, but then see your face in the intro music? Because you were right there, but better.
No, I definitely lapped on my end. Not that anyone could see that. I was like, oh yeah, we did that. Right. Part of the team.
You're like, oh, it's the first time on the show, but there's my face. Yep, I got it. Good. For those of you who may not know Erin, congratulations, because you're about to completely add somebody to your network. Erin, I have been a stalker of for years, and now she is officially a member of our Teach Better team. So Erin, tell us a little about yourself, not only your work in schools, but also your work with the team.
Yeah, well, it's great to meet some new folks and to see some awesome friends in the chat already. Hi, everybody. So my name is Erin Healey. I live in Rhode Island, and I'm an instructional coach at a high school here in Rhode Island. And I'm also the Speakers Network Manager for the Teach Better team, which is absolutely fantastic. We are working with a number of rock star speakers across the country to share the Teach Better message and share their incredible work to educators. So that's something that you should all keep an eye out for. But my work as an instructional coach here, working with just high school, my background's in high school English. It also gives me the ability to work a lot with newer teachers. I am the founder of the Young Educator Society of Rhode Island, which is a group that connects networking and professional development, all teachers under year 5 in the classroom, trying to get past that critical burnout rate. We do a lot of work with pre-service teachers, adjunct lecturing at URI this semester too, which is great to meet so many amazing future educators. And yeah, the work that we're doing is really critical, especially right now. So it's something that keeps me energized.
Erin is the busiest person on the planet. Every time I talk to you, I'm like, okay, what's the other title? Because you never let anything go. You just add more titles to your day.
Yeah, no, that's true. But the titles, are great, but it's just the work is still kind of the same. So that allows me to focus.
Erin, I know you joined the team just at the beginning of this year. Brad, did I just see on Facebook that you joined last year around this time? You're officially at a year on the team, right, Brad?
That's right.
And that's a big deal. I feel like we should be celebrating your anniversary.
I've got a cupcake over here just off camera with the candle. Well, I've got to blow out the candle, but being part of the Teach Better team has been just such an energizing part of the past year. And with education always being a go opportunity, it really is awesome to dig into opportunities to connect with you, Ray, and with Erin and with other colleagues. And it just adds a little bit of spice to my life as a school leader and educator.
I totally agree with Brienne's in the comments saying that it totally feels like more than a year. I feel that way about everyone. Like Erin, I think that we originally connected one of your first years teaching.
Yeah.
And still, I'm like, I don't know. I've been friends with Erin for like 25 years. Like it just is what it is. I have no base of time.
No, yeah, that was crazy. It was 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So fun.
Well, I had the opportunity to meet and get to know Erin personally at the Teach Better retreat back in July, and was just, just so impressed with Erin and her contributions, not only to her educational life as a coach, but I'm really interested, Erin, about how you hit upon this opportunity to found, not just contribute to, but to found a society for young educators. How did that come to you?
So that was in a time of transition. I just met Ray at my very first educational conference ever. And I had gone into my second year of teaching and just kind of thinking about some of the supports that I could see existing in the world, mostly honestly through my connections with the Teach Better team, looking at what they were doing on social media and looking at what other places were doing around the country and being like, I wish I had that in my first year of teaching, or like, I wish I had known that in my second year, transitioning jobs, like all this stuff about how to read a contract, how to manage your time, how to not spend your entire paycheck, which is small for first year teachers, on classroom decorations, right? Like all this stuff that I wish I had known as a first year teacher. And I was like, someone should be talking about that. We're really lucky in Rhode Island that we're such a small state, that we have a lot of opportunities to get together in person, pre-pandemic mostly. But honestly, like there's 33 school districts in a state that you can drive from one end to the other in about less than an hour. So there's still a lot of just siloed independent work going on in Rhode Island. And the goal of this organization is to really bring all that cohort of new teachers together. While prior to this year, there might have been one or two new teachers in a building in the course of a school year. Bringing that group together to have a community, I thought was really important. So we are, we're cruising along, making progress post-pandemic. A lot of things did shift online at that point, but we still have a really great network of new teachers in the state.
Erin, you've always been so dedicated in not only connecting educators, but trying to get them resources so that resources are readily accessible when needed. I think that's such a wonderful passion. And you're right, as much as I pick on your always aspiring ambitions of adding new titles, you have always had this dedication to wanting to improve educators' lives, which I think is just so outstanding.
Oh, thank you. It's making me blush over here.
No, it's so good. Brad, what are your thoughts?
I'm wondering, Erin, what your new educators are telling you is the biggest value to them as being part of the Young Educator Society, or what their biggest needs are that are just keeping them going in such tough times.
I would say the biggest needs of this cohort have appeared to be just persistence and finding ways to sustain their passion to become a teacher through the really hard times of finding a job and keeping a job for longer than a 1-year contract. When you get into a new school district, kind of how to assimilate and bridge that gap of being an adult and being responsible for yourself for the first time, and also being responsible for these kids who, if you're in a high school, might be like 4 years younger than you. It's a lot of tricky things to like balance relationships with your colleagues and with your students, and just finding ways to persist has been honestly, and I know that's a common statement for all educators. I mean, I'm in year 7 and I feel the same things, how to persist in this time where education is really a lot about everything besides actually teaching kids.
Can I take us totally off track, but I promise we'll go back to talking education in a second. Anyone in the comments, especially because we'll talk about it here on screen, but in the comments, get ready. I'm going to want to hear your thoughts. Rhode Island, you can drive across, you said, in like an hour, and you said there were 33 school districts. I want to hear from like everyone else, like where you live, how big is it? We'll use hours driving. We'll just assume that works. And then school districts like Illinois, top to bottom, is at least 7 hours, if not more, to drive. And I know there are over 800 school districts in Illinois. So I'm like, just trying to I'm like, wow, Rhode Island, such a different space than Illinois, but I've loved visiting. I can't wait to someday go back. Brad, what's like the size of the area you live in? I know we're seeing a comment here about Texas.
1,200 districts in Texas, according to one of our guests and viewers. And And Ray, it would be an 18-hour drive across the province of Ontario. And to be honest, I don't know how many school districts the province has. Southwestern Ontario is quite dense in having up to 30, 35 school districts, both public and Catholic school districts in our region. And it varies widely by population too.
No, it's just so interesting that I think it's a good reminder how many educators in our community have an opportunity to not live in a bubble. You mentioned it earlier, Erin. I know it's a big passion for you, is like educators understanding that it's okay to accept that sometimes we are kind of not even by choice, but put in silos. And it's important to expand our teachings, expand our learning beyond that point. So just super interesting to reflect on this afternoon.
It is like a really unique microcosm. And I honestly, the 33, that's all public schools. There are so many charter and private schools as well that we didn't even touch on. And that was actually my experience. So I started my first year in a charter school. So even that experience coming into a different type of schooling system and then transitioning into a public school system, like navigating what does a charter school look like? What does an at-will contract look like compared to union support? What is a union? What can a union provide? So there was a lot of just new learning that would have been great to know before my first year teaching, but is great to know now. And in a lot of the supports that are available for new teachers, some of the work that I do is with our National Educator Association chapter in Rhode Island for the early career educator community. They are fantastic in providing supports for new teachers, but only in the communities that are a part of that union. So how can we bring in those brand new charter schools and private school teachers who that's probably the first job they're going to get, since those are the jobs that have rapid turnover and are readily available. Bringing those groups in too to provide support for all teachers, because we're all doing the same work for kids, is it's a very unique microcosm that we're able to do this kind of work here and also kind of research this cohort of new teachers here as well.
So interesting.
Ray, I don't know if Erin finds it natural to toot her own horn, but I want Erin to talk a little bit about her contributions to what I remember is the country's oldest community orchestra.
Yes, I know this was a fun fact at the retreat. We definitely need to get a little personal, Erin. We know that this is a thing. You got to tell us more.
Yeah, so I'm part of the American Band. It is I think it's the oldest community civilian concert band in the country. We have a very long history dating back to pre-Civil War, 1833, if I'm remembering correctly. And like, I dove a lot into this, kind of a nerdy history moment, but like we had, one of our bass drums was the only casualty in the group that all volunteered to go fight in the Civil War, right? Like it has a lot of really unique history that is part of that group. John Philip Sousa, whom everybody knows, is a big fan of one of our early directors. And yeah, I've been in that group for 7 years, which is how I met my husband. And he was the president last year. I'm the president this year. So we're trying to like really bring the band back post-pandemic. It's hard for performing arts ensembles to kind of do that now in the pandemic, but we're making do, and we have our group back. It's a really unique opportunity to kind of be part of that history and part of that story here in Rhode Island.
Can we do one? Go ahead, Brad. Go ahead.
No worries, Ray. I just want to reassure Erin that Ray and I think that you are top brass, and I want to make sure that our audience knows too that you have a very special animal in your life too.
Wait, that's what I was going to say. Can we talk about the dog's Instagram? Can we talk about the dog's Instagram?
Yeah, so playing trumpet, jumping to dogs. We named our dog after a local ice cream shop here. He's very cute. He's very active. He was barking a lot when just Ray and Brad and I were on here earlier, so I'm glad he's kind of settled down now that we're recording live. But yeah, he's a 10-month-old mix of something happy.
So can we just say, while we're going to get into some educational conversation here in just a second while we transition, getting to know Erin, not only her as an educator, but you really guys, you got to go follow Erin's life between all the hobbies and the dogs and everything else. I'm just saying this is not just an educational connection. This is like a friend that you have to follow her entire life type of connection.
Well, this is also something that makes connecting with Teach Better team members so wonderful, Ray, is we're able to gradually uncover how educators contribute so much to life in their schools, but also life in their communities too. This is what it's all about is finding ways to find and maintain the joy in our lives as whole people, contributing to families, to communities, to schools, committing to making our own contributions. And I'm just excited to dive in further with Erin and to find out more about her.
I do think that that's a wonderful reminder, Brad. I think that we don't talk about that enough, that as we bring on guests to the show, or as we all get to know each other here in our Teach Better community, the reminder that we are all more than just our jobs, although our jobs are incredible. I love the opportunity to get to know one another personally. And even if you're willing in the comments right now, sharing like a fun fact, a tidbit about yourself that maybe Brad, Erin, and I don't know about you. I mean, that is something that I love the opportunity of, is not just being able to talk shop with all of these incredible educators, not only on screen, but in our comments in our group as well. And sometimes I think we forget that there are real people with full lives, families, and hobbies, in addition to the work that's being done every day. So I'm excited to maybe see some fun facts and get to know some personal fun tidbits from our family here. We're going to transition real quick, I think, if this discussion that's okay with you guys, and hopefully we'll see some comments coming up next with maybe some other fun facts we don't know to add to our list when we're back.
Welcome back. We are diving into discussion with the incredible Erin Healey. It's Ray Hewart and Brad Hughes from the Teach Better team. And you're with the Sunday weekly warm-up, streaming exclusively in our Teach Better group on Facebook. Streaming later in this week, but for right now, this is a private party for our Teach Better group exclusive members. And Erin Healey is an educator in Rhode Island. She's committed to instructional coaching in a high school setting, as well as making a commitment to community service through music, as well as service to new educators, especially in their first 5 years. And that's where I'd like to dive in here, Erin. I wonder if this is reaching new educators, either watching live or listening later. What do you think might be top of mind right now as maybe we turn the corner on the first month of school in our districts? What might newer or new teachers be feeling right now?
This is actually a great kind of transition from our last conversation about looking at educators as full people. I feel like for our newer folks who are just starting the year off, whether that's in a subbing position, they're just found a new job a couple days into the school year, or they have started off on the first day with everybody else, but have gotten through their first 4 weeks, remembering that they are whole people and can't pour from an empty cup is something that a lot of new teachers struggle with, especially super early in their careers. I'm lucky to work with a bunch of future teachers and current teachers who are coming back after they're getting their emergency certification to take some courses in classroom management at the university level. And they're all saying the same thing. Just how do I, again, sustain this lifestyle of being a teacher, being up all hours of the night, creating new lesson plans and coming up with new behavior management strategies, staying after with kids, making phone calls. It's a lot to juggle. And when you're a new teacher, you think you have to do it all at once. And, you don't. You can pace yourself. The school year is a marathon, not a sprint. This is actually also just kind of a quick plug, the topic of my speaking, my presentation at the Teach Better conference in Ohio in a couple of weeks about how to thrive as a new teacher, not just survive. And so this idea of bringing all these different passion areas into your life that are going to sustain you and push you through some of these hard times is that mindset shift that we're going to be talking about in Ohio in a couple of weeks.
Of course, Erin Healey found a way to plug. Can we just
guys come to Ohio?
Of course she did. She was like, I'm going live. I'm doing 100 things, but I'm going to figure out a way to plug the Teach Better conference in our conversation. Erin, do you think people should maybe come see your session at the Teach Better conference here in October?
I think if this is something that you are also considering how to thrive in a school year that is incredibly difficult, then definitely please stop by my session. It is geared towards newer teachers, but we are going to be sharing a lot that I think all teachers of educational experiences can gravitate towards. And honestly, we're going to be sharing some tips also at the end on how some of our more experienced teachers can look back and mentor some of these newer teachers in the classroom as well. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you, please definitely stop by.
Brad, are you thinking about going to the Teach Better conference too? Do you think you'll be there?
It's crossed my mind, Ray and Erin, that I may be able to stop in to our Akron, Ohio conference, October 14th or 15th. Actually, I'm so excited about it. I can't believe we're coming up on 3 weeks away when we have an opportunity to come together at the National Inventors Hall of Fame Middle School in Akron, and to come together with incredible educators just like Erin Healey, whether you're new to the role or whether you are an experienced educator, whether you're a classroom educator, a school leader, whatever you contribute, there's something for everyone at Teach Better 22.
So fun. Erin, I know that you're going to present this at the conference. I know a number of people tuning in are going to actually take the time to make sure they're at your session October 14th and 15th. If you need to get your ticket over at teachbetterconference.com. But I will say, if they're not able to attend or they're struggling to figure out what sessions to go to because there's so many good ones, is there kind of a strategy that you can challenge our group with right now? Either something that fits with this topic or something that you're going to share in your session that maybe our community here could consider doing or questioning themselves of this week?
Yeah, absolutely. This might sound like a little outside of the box for education, but if you've heard of the Marie Kondo method, it's try to think about things that bring you joy and to focus on that. I have taken this to impact, my house cleaning, which is kind of her goal, but also looking at ways to process what is the most important parts of your school year and really prioritize those things that fill you up and make you want to keep teaching, B, want to keep you looking for ways to teach better, and also B, just making you a better person when you wake up in the morning. That could be something like, I need to prioritize my parent communication as opposed to coming up with like a classroom transformation every other day, and looking at ways that priority can be brought into your daily habits. Maybe it's something like you are a runner, and that, unfortunately, if you're a high school teacher like me, means waking up at like 4:30 to run before school. But putting these habits into your schedule, into your life, making those a priority when you're building out your week, I found it to be really helpful. Also, instead of like Sunday scaries, which I know that you don't have Sunday scaries because you're here with us at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night. If you are one of those people that tries to like leave the planning of the whole week up until that last minute, I find that sitting down with a cup of coffee on a Saturday morning and actually planning out your week from Monday to the next Saturday is a really great way to give yourself space to make maybe like think about things you forgot you needed to get done before Monday and you have a whole day and a half left to do it, or maybe scheduling in some of those things that do fill you up and bring you joy, making those a priority, and then fitting in everything else around it. Like, yeah, it's cool that your friends from college are coming back for the next weekend, but like, what is going to fill you up? Is it going to be that like thing you're going out and spending a whole day with them? Or is it going to be like taking a walk with your dog in the morning first? So finding ways to fit those priorities in, it's just a mindset shift. And Saturday mornings are a great time to do it, I find, because I'm usually the one forgetting, like, I forgot to go grocery shopping. And now if I'm doing that at Sunday night, it's too late to go grocery shopping. But if I'm thinking about it Saturday morning, I can plan it out in advance.
Brad, I wonder if that's kind of a good challenge for our group here. Sometimes I feel like we fall into challenges that are kind of like auditing our week, which I kind of like. You're kind of keeping it in the back of your mind for the week. And maybe it's something you can reflect on, Friday night or Saturday morning. But saying, we're not telling anybody to change their practices. But if you go through your week and do a gut check every so often saying, is this something I really enjoy doing? It's you bringing me joy. Or is this something that I actually could have done without? Maybe we can slowly start making those shifts. Not to say that every single thing you do in your calendar is going to refuel you, but if there's a way that you could keep leaning towards the things that do you good, I think we'd be better for it. What are your thoughts, Brad?
I think that new teachers have so much to learn, but also so much to offer. And I think that our new educators need to remember that they were invited to join a faculty and a campus for a reason, not necessarily to teach a subject or a class, but to bring their unique gifts to the fore and to connect with kids and educators that they work with in new ways to add to, their important piece of the jigsaw puzzle of the whole ecosystem. And Erin, I wonder if you hear from new educators that in spite of joining maybe a large faculty or campus, that it can feel very isolating, feel very alone, that you're trying to navigate so many things. And are there ways that you would advise new educators to reach out to or connect with people in their ecosystem to help them to beat this sense of isolation?
Yeah, honestly, don't be afraid to ask questions of anybody and everybody, because it might seem really overwhelming when you get to the first couple of the professional development days in the beginning of the year and everyone is just at the, they're maxed out thinking about all the new initiatives that are coming this year. And it might seem daunting to say, like, can I add one more thing to your pile and ask you how to find the printer in our hallway? But just don't be afraid to just ask. And everybody in the building, no matter what's going on, knows that you're in the same boat, but starting at a way lower step, since you don't know how to access the Wi-Fi or where to the faculty bathroom is, right? But they don't mind helping you because they all know that they were in that situation once before. That is the great part of being a teacher, is once you get in, you're in. And the hardest part is just getting your foot in the door. So now that you've got your foot in the door, you've made it into that school and that space, everybody else knows exactly how that feels and knows exactly where you're coming from, and is always happy to answer questions, even though it's a little scary at first.
I have to say, I know this is maybe like the lamest comment ever, but as a teacher who, you have this like long to-do list of things that you need to do, I think answering a question almost like gives you a boost of adrenaline and confidence, like of success. Like a new teacher comes to you and asks you a question, that makes me feel good. I can help somebody, right? Typically on my to-do list is a list of things that are relatively daunting or cumbersome. Somebody coming to me and I can support them and help them. I think as a newer teacher, whether it be to the profession or to a specific building, you asking questions is actually a possibility of giving somebody the feel good of being helpful and successful that day. I wonder if that mindset shift, rather than being irritating to somebody or interrupting their day, if you could see it more as giving them a really easy win for the day because they're able to help you, which as educators, I think that's a relatively similar trait many of us have, is this desire to help and serve. I wonder if that mindset is beneficial at all.
Absolutely. That is why we all became teachers. It wasn't for the paycheck. It was for helping people, teaching people. And whether it's a student or a new teacher.
That's it. Well, I'm thinking how busy all of our lives are as educators, and it's understandable if you're a new educator or not to anticipate that someone might be irritated or bothered or too busy to answer a question. So if an educator comes to you with a question, I want to encourage everyone to remember to be patient and graceful and invitational, because it's risky to let others know, especially if you're new to the profession, that you need some advice, you need some help, because we all want to be positioning ourselves as people who are in the know. If we can position ourselves and keep that learner's mindset, and you can ask for advice, ask for help, and then reflect back to the person who gave it how that advice was helpful to you. But please be graceful and please be patient with those who are asking for help, because it's hard to ask for help in the first place, and you never know what you might learn in the process.
Erin, we never get to talk really about the Teach Better Speakers Network. And because you are the brain power behind it, would you mind shifting this conversation just slightly? I know you love supporting new educators in the field. Now let's go to the fact that you actually work with experts in the field in our Teach Better Speakers Network. And this is something that you not only have done for the last few months, but completely re-energized this program, this community within our Teach Better family. Would you mind sharing a little bit about what you get to do with these outstanding educators?
Yeah, absolutely. It has been a blast kind of taking some of the ideas and systems behind the Speakers Network and really just kind of taking advantage of this post-pandemic moment where everyone's getting back to in-person conferences and in-person professional development, and working with a roster of absolute rock star education experts from around the country to bring their work to schools and to teachers in this absolutely crazy time. So the work that we do is, if you go to teachbetter.com/speakers network, you can check out our slate of incredible experts. And I basically try to get them gigs, and we get to send them to as many schools and conferences and companies, different organizations, because teaching better is not just isolated to K-12 education. It's also looking at colleges, pre-service teachers, companies, different businesses. One of our rockstar educators is actually going to speak at a Chamber of Commerce to educate people who are responsible for other people. That is what teaching is, and the Teach Better message is spread through all of their excellent work. We cover everything from social emotional learning to technology education, to leadership in and out of the classroom, to technology tips and tricks for like classroom management. A lot of emphasis on what teachers could use to make their lives better and to make their classrooms better and to make their students better. And because we have such a wide array of topics, it's been great to get to know the speakers, get to know a little bit more about their work, and really just spread their message to as many teachers in this moment as possible.
Friends, if you have been a part of the Teach Better family for a while, just FYI, when you go to teachbetter.com/speakers network, these are very familiar faces of educators that you've seen on lives that do great work, that, you know, they probably have books that you've read 100 times. I just love that you not only can reach out to the Teach Better family over at teachbetter.com to get training with Brad or Erin or myself, or maybe you have book training in the past and Chad Ostrowski showed up to your school, or you got to see Dr. Dave Schmittou. Katie Miglin's been on the road a lot. Joshua Stamper's been crazy on the road. But with this avenue, you also get to learn from Mickey Smith Jr. and, Dr. Neil Gupta, who was just on the panel with us last weekend. I mean, there's so many incredible educators there. I know one of my favorites, I actually got to meet at the Teach Better conference in 2019, Brittany Wolf, who's an incredible speaker. So there's just so many different fun pockets of ways to learn. And Erin, I just feel like we can continue to celebrate these educators that have partnered with the Teach Better team to reach a wider audience. It's so exciting.
It really has been a blast. And a lot of them are coming to the conference. So if you do check out that website and you see a bunch of people that you're like, I've wanted to meet that person for years, come check out them at the conference.
Brad, don't worry. That was her plugging the conference again. Did you hear that? I think she mentioned
I picked up on
really
that, Ray, and I was able to find the banner button to let people know it's at teachbetterconference.com.
So fun. So fun. Brad, I was thinking that I know we have the giggles coming up. Before we do that, any final questions you want to throw at Erin to get her thinking before we get into our weekly giggles?
I'm just wondering what makes educating in Rhode Island delightful for you, Erin.
It is a really small state, which means the schools are really small, which means that I'm able to develop really great relationships with both students and colleagues and the places that I've worked with. Getting to just have a network that is supportive of not only new teachers, but has been supportive of me throughout my entire career, whether that's at the state level for policy work or that's in the classroom. It's been really amazing to have a family of education thought leaders in Rhode Island that I can turn to in a second. I've worked with several organizations in various like fellowships and on projects, and I've brought members of communities into the classrooms, and it's just been really great to get to know people so well because we're in such a small microcosm. It's fantastic. I would never leave here. So sorry, Midwest.
I was gonna say, and it's just so pretty. Like, Brad, have you been to Rhode Island?
I've never been. No. When I was talking with Erin about Rhode Island and what it was like to live and work there, I thought, wow, what an awesome place to visit. Got to put that on my bucket list.
So fun. Let's all take a trip. We'll be right back with some giggles.
That's a hilarious little banner.
I was just thinking, I'm like, I kind of like the commercial for Weekly Giggles. If you're listening to this after the fact as like a Teach Better Talk podcast episode, friends, that would obviously come out the day after. If you want to participate live, you have to be here exclusive in the group. But regardless, if you're not watching, go back and rewatch that commercial. I think it's so funny. Brad, I love Weekly Giggles because I think we all need to add some giggles as we start the week. You know, we kind of joke about Sunday scaries being a concern in our world. And the reality is that we hope we can all come together on Sunday evenings and just get in the right mindset, ground our feet, and really know that we're doing good work while also maybe laughing through it. So, Brad, what are our weekly giggles this week?
Erin and Ray, I've got a riddle for you, and maybe you can answer. Maybe if you are watching with us live, you can answer in the comments. It's a big lump with knobs. It has the juice. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. Any ideas?
I got nothing. Help.
No.
Somebody in the comments has to know. Wait, do it one more time. Somebody in the comments.
Maybe if I sing the clues, it'll help.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
A big lump with knobs. It has the juice. It has the juice. I can't imagine more beautiful thing.
Is
It's
it
corn.
corn?
It's corn. It's corn. And it's courtesy of Tariq from Recess Therapy. Recess Therapy, Ray and Erin, is one of my favorite Instagram follows, as well as a website. And Tariq is the corn boy. And Tariq loves to share his love of corn with the corn song. Have you picked up on the corn song so far, Ray and Erin?
It has been sung to me like at school by kids and adults.
Yes.
I haven't
It
seen
is-
the video though.
It is such a bop, and Tariq is such a sincere and articulate, and just tugs at my heartstrings when Tariq gets passionate about corn. He wishes everyone a corntastic day, and this comes from Recess Therapy, which again is just a wonderful website and a great follow on Instagram.
I love that we're able to have a good giggle. I have to tell you, the things I've learned going through either TikTok or Instagram Reels is unbelievable. And then obviously kids that come to you later who are able to give you like some context to what you're watching. I'm like, it's so fun.
It's very helpful when they come back and get context.
Seriously.
Here's the host and creator of Recess Therapy. It's Julian Shapiro Barnum in New York, sitting down with Tariq and talking about the delights of corn. And Tariq said that once someone let him know that corn was an actual thing, he was just fascinated, and he just loves the butter on it. And it's the juice. It's all about the juice. He can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's really incredible.
May you all eat plenty of corn. I mean, has the fall weather turned for all of you? I don't know about you where you all are located, especially those in the comments, but Midwest, it is like 60s, high 50s. It is corn season. Let's all go eat some corn this week.
Oh, really? Our corn season was August. But
What? You need more. You need
we do not grow that much corn here. We got oysters. We got quahawks.
What, is that you trying to brag that you have oysters over?
I'm just throwing it out there that we've got Dell's, coffee milk, all kinds of good stuff.
Brad, if you had to pick
Not
something,
corn.
if you had to pick something to eat in September, what are you eating? What's your food of choice? September rolls
It's
around.
got to be anything maple, Ray. Like anything maple. So it could be maple latte, or maybe pumpkin pie with some whipped cream with a little bit of maple syrup in there. It just anything that says fall to me is maple. But when it comes to corn, I mean, if you want to talk more corn, I'm all ears.
It doesn't surprise me about the maple thing, Brad, but I will say pumpkin has been everywhere. Like officially all the pumpkin drinks are out, everything. When is it, like, what are your rules in terms of like people being excited and decorating for Halloween? Do you have to wait till October 1st? We're only a few days away from that.
I prefer to see Halloween decorations start to come up around mid-October, Ray. But I'm always good for a good spooky scare and celebrate Halloween.
Wait, did you say mid-October? That means you only would have the decorations up for a few weeks, right?
Yeah, I would say just for a few weeks. What do you and Erin think?
Erin, is that wrong?
Well, I decorated for fall. I put some fall things, like a wreath on my door 3 weeks ago. It's like the first weekend of September. And I put the candy corn and the pumpkin on my TV stand yesterday. So I am like ready to go.
Okay, wait. So then I'm going to
on
follow
the
this
front
up.
step.
I'm going to follow this up then with Thanksgiving, which, you know, obviously, Brad, we won't necessarily. I know we have different Thanksgivings, but when is it too early to put up Christmas stuff? Because I know many people celebrate Christmas, and this is the big debate after Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving.
We always listen to Alice's Restaurant, which is like this ridiculous song speech moment the day of like Thanksgiving, and then as soon as we listened to that song, Christmas music was allowed, Christmas decorations were allowed after that. So like mid Thanksgiving Day is Christmas season. Wow.
It's our tradition to start putting things up on November 25th. But in our family, we love to decorate for the winter, for holidays, and just it gets everyone in the right spirit.
I just want to say I don't necessarily really care about Halloween decorations, but as somebody who doesn't celebrate Christmas, I thrive on seeing everyone else's Christmas lights and decorations. So the earlier you can put them up, the better for me. So just as a just as an alert for everybody who's debating on putting Christmas stuff up, I say the earlier the better, because that's more time for me to enjoy your Christmas lights.
And Ray, Rosh Hashanah begins this evening. Is that right?
Oh, Brad, thank you for reminding me. I wanted to make sure we wish all of our Teach Better community, anybody celebrating Shana Tova. We are so excited for Rosh Hashanah to be kicking off right now, depending on where you are. It's been going on for a bit. And then obviously Yom Kippur coming up here in just about 8 days. So if any of you are celebrating, or if you know a friend or family member who's celebrating, wish them a happy new year. If you want to say it all fancy, you can say Lishana Tova. It's a very exciting opportunity. Thank you, Brad, for that reminder. Always good to celebrate all the holidays around the world that our Teach Better family members might be celebrating. So fun.
One thing that's special about being educators is that every August or September, it really is a new year. We have the opportunity to come together to, just to open the new year with freshness and excitement and openness to opportunities that we bring to and that our students bring back to us. So much to celebrate as we head from September into October, Erin and Ray.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I know that we have a lot here that we want to discuss before we wrap up, but just for context, if you're in a new community this year, or maybe you're engaging with different families than you have in the past, these are the two most important Jewish holidays all year long. These are far more important than many, many other like socially well-known holidays like Hanukkah and things like that. So if you have a Jewish family that's choosing to take a day off to go to temple or something along those lines, just keep in mind that these are major holidays for a lot of families. So it's always good to learn as much as possible during these incredible times and celebrate all the wonderful things going on in the world. As we wrap up here, I'd love to make sure, Erin, that everybody gets to connect with you, not only obviously to see your session at the Teach Better conference, but also just learn from all the things you're doing, both personally and professionally. Would you mind sharing a little bit of how people can stay connected with you?
Absolutely. So my social media handle on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook is @Miss Erin Healey. And you can follow the Young Educators Society by checking out yesri.org or yesri.org on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well.
So fun. Brad, anything exciting coming up for you this coming week?
Just back to school and back to opportunities to serve and connect, Ray, and looking forward very much to seeing you and Erin in person just a little over 3 weeks. Might be an Akron, Ohio date, teachbetterconference.com for all the details.
So fun. For everyone here, we hope that you are winding down your Sunday feeling good, feeling ready for the week. Some little challenges that we were able to share with you just to kind of audit to make sure that you're making really good, healthy choices for yourself. We care about you. We're here to support you. So if there's any questions that we can answer or resources that we can find, if we don't know the answer, we will partner with you to make sure that we get the answer for you. So feel free to reach out at any time. We hope you have an incredible Sunday, an outstanding week. We will still be live all week long, multiple times to celebrate our last little boost of our Teach Better Conference speaker spotlights that I'm sure you've been catching. And we also, of course, will be live Wednesday morning, bright and early for our Wednesday wake up. So we hope to catch you as the week continues and hear from you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll see you soon, friends. Bye, guys.